Alright, so today we're working on the old 76 F250 here that we picked up a couple weeks back for about $1,000 or so. It's got a 390 and a 4-speed in it, which is really just a 3-speed with a granny low. And anyway, pulling it out of the back of a farmer's field, it not being used for quite a while there. Obviously we've gone through and got everything kind of straightened out, the carb adjustment and everything of that nature. And anyway, you know, the clutch probably isn't, you know, with sitting all that time brand new in it, and it's just a little bit chattery. If we got a load on the truck, got it filled up and trying to get going in second, which would be first. So my clutch pedal catch point was way at the bottom, and I'll explain what I mean when I say catch point in a bit. But anyway, on these old F-Series rigs, the clutch mechanism, I guess, is all mechanical. So just a mechanical push rod that goes back and pushes on the clutch fork, and then obviously pushes on the throwout bearing and disengages the clutch and all that good stuff. We'll get under the truck here in a second where it's easy to see, but a lot of people just kind of let these go. They don't really adjust them as they go along, and as that clutch plate wears, you know, you get less and less engagement when you push in the clutch pedal. So today I'm just going to show you how to adjust that and get the most out of your clutch, because if we didn't do this, our clutch would stop working after you know, however many miles you would use it, and then you'd replace it and there's still plenty of good clutch material to work with. So without further ado, let's jump under the truck and see exactly what I'm talking about. As you can see, we have a little bit of adjustment in this guy, and I actually just jammed this in here because I wanted to just test drive it and see how it was. But anyway, what you can do is these are usually jammed together, and then this little piston piece just slides on this rod, and you want to break these free, obviously, from each other. They're just jam nutted together. I usually take my spring off here. Let's just do this for reference. And so there's usually a little bit of play in this lever, or a little bit of play in this push rod, and you want to try and take all of that play out that you can up until the point where you know, just before you would be at where you're engaging your clutch. Obviously, if you run this too far out, you're going to be on your throwout bearing all the time and burn stuff up, burn your clutch up. It's just not an ideal situation either. But if you have a ton of play in this rod back and forth, you can tighten this up quite a bit. And this is, you can see how far I went with mine here. It went in quite a bit. So I'm sure our clutch disc is pretty worn, but now we get pretty good engagement, and the clutch transition is really nice and smooth. So I'm gonna go ahead and jam this down and it'll be good to go. But I'll jump up in the truck here, we'll fire it up and kind of put it around, and I'll show what you mean by clutch pedal engagement. But pretty much after you you're going to essentially loosen this nut here, and it's going to run this rod out farther and take up that play. And then if you'll bear with me here, I'm going to hurry up, hop up there and grab my tools. I'm just going to jam nut this together. No big deal there, so that it can't back out on itself. And then we'll jump up in the truck and go for a ride. Alright, in the truck here we're going to fire up this big old 390 FE with its nice truck cam, so it doesn't take nothing, no gas pedal. Just fires right off. Awesome. So we're going to put this thing out on the road and play with our clutch a little bit. Alright, got her all warmed up and idle and good. Turn our steering wheel so you can see this clutch pedal. Now, what I mean when I say the catch point is where you have to come up on the clutch before the vehicle starts moving. Obviously, if you're way at the floor, and then as you're coming up, the vehicle starts wanting to roll, that means you're starting to engage your clutch, and really you don't have a lot of throw left over at the bottom, so you might not be getting full disengagement, and you can do a lot of damage to your transmission and other things. So I always like to get my engagement point pretty close to the top here. So anyway, let's just go ahead and put it in granny low, because that's just really cool that we even have that. I've never had a vehicle that's had that before. So there we go, up in our low gear. We don't have to press the gas at all. We're on a nice little incline, and I'll just show you here. There, and now we're starting to roll the vehicle forward. pretty close to the top of the pedal throw. Obviously you want this little bit of play, because if you're engaging the throwout bearing at some point that's, you know, pretty close to the top, you could be engaging it at all times, which you really don't want to do. So again, we'll push that in and stop. We're going to come up, and there's our engagement point. That means we have all this throw length on our clutch, and really you want as much as you can get, obviously within reason. And again, you just want to have that little bit of slop there, you know, just so you're not engaging it all the time and burning your clutch up or other bad things. So anyway, we got the F250 running pretty good at this point. We just got a few final things to do, but it's looking to be a pretty decent driver. We've put a couple 100 miles on it now, and without issue, after we got everything kind of, you know, put some attention to everything after it sat in the field for God knows how long. And it's really a pretty good rig. As you can see, we're just putting right along here. It's got pretty good power, that old 390 FE, and we're just going to keep having fun with it.